I'm Sophia Bennett. I'm 32 now, living out in Denver, building a life that finally feels like mine. But this morning? This morning didn't feel like mine at all. It started with my phone lighting up like it had something urgent to prove. 29 missed calls. Same area code, Illinois. I didn't need to listen to the voicemails to know who it was. You ever get that feeling? Like your body recognizes something before your mind catches up? Like your chest tightens, your fingers go cold, and suddenly you're not in your kitchen anymore. You're somewhere else, somewhere you swore you'd never go back to? Yeah, that. Because before I even pressed play, before I even unlocked my phone fully, I was already 12 years old again, standing inside Union Station in Chicago. Alone. Not lost, left. And not by accident. No, my parents didn't forget me. They made a bet about me. That's the part people don't get right away. It wasn't chaos. It wasn't confusion. It wasn't some, oops, we'll be right back kind of situation. It was planned. It was funny to them. And that day split my life clean in two. There's the girl I was before that moment, and the one I had to become after. Growing up in Willow Creek, Illinois, everything looked good from the outside, like picture-perfect suburban American dream type of good. My parents ran a chain of home goods stores. Nothing fancy, but solid, reliable, the kind of business people respected. We had backyard barbecues, my dad flipping burgers like he was auditioning for some sitcom dad role, my mom smiling and waving at neighbors like she had it all figured out. If you stood across the street, you'd think we were fine, better than fine. But inside the house, man, it was a whole different vibe. See, in my family, love wasn't just given, it was earned. And not in a healthy, do-your-best kind of way. More like pass the test or pay the price. Everything was a lesson. That was my mom's favorite word. Lesson. If I cried, lesson. If I forgot something, lesson. If I asked for help, oh yeah, that was definitely a lesson. And these weren't quiet, sit you down and talk it out lessons. Nah, these were public, humiliating, borderline cruel, let's see how she handles it experiments. My dad? He didn't stop it. He backed it. Like it was entertainment. Like they were on the same team and I was the game. I remember being 8 years old, standing in a mall, staring at a pair of sneakers because mine were literally splitting in the front. I just asked, if I could get new ones. Not demanded, not cried, just asked. My mom looked at me like I had just insulted her. Next thing I knew, I was sitting alone on a bench near the food court while they walked away. Sit here, she said. Learn something. 3 hours. 3. I watched people come and go, smelled pretzels and sugar and everything I couldn't have, trying not to cry because crying always made things worse. When they came back, my dad laughed, actually laughed, and asked my mom if he owed her money because he'd bet I'd still be sitting there. That was normal for me. That was childhood. So yeah, by the time I turned 12, I already knew something wasn't right. I just didn't have the words for it yet. What pushed everything over the edge was something so small it almost sounds ridiculous now. I got a B+ in art. Art, the only thing I loved, the only place I felt like I could breathe. I thought maybe, just maybe, they'd be proud. I walked in the door, handed over the report card, and my mom just stared at it like it was proof I'd failed as a human being. A B plus in the only thing you care about? She said. My dad shook his head like he was disappointed but not surprised. That night, I heard them talking in the kitchen. Low voices, that tone they used when something was coming. My mom said, she needs a lesson she won't forget. My dad laughed and said he'd put money on that. The next morning, they were weirdly nice, like too nice. Pancakes, orange juice, smiles that didn't match their eyes. They said we were going into Chicago for the day, just the three of us. And for one stupid, hopeful second, I thought maybe this was their way of fixing things. Yeah, I should have known better. The drive felt off. My mom kept asking me questions that weren't really questions. You think you're independent? You think you can handle the real world? You think life's going to be easy on you? Every answer I gave just made them smirk. By the time we hit the city, my stomach was in knots. Union Station was massive, loud, people everywhere. It felt like 1,000 lives happening at once, and I didn't belong to any of them. We walked inside, and my mom pointed to this huge pillar near the entrance. "Stay right here," she said. "We're gonna park and grab food. 15 minutes." I asked if I could come with them. My dad laughed, loud. "Kid, you're 12, not a toddler." My mom leaned in close, her voice sharp but smiling. "Don't embarrass me." So I stayed. Of course I stayed, because that's what I'd been trained to do. 15 minutes passed, then 30, then an hour. At first, I made excuses for them. Parking must be bad. Lines are long. They'll be back. They always come back, right? By the time it hit an hour and a half, something inside me started to crack. My chest felt tight. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I had $9 in my pocket. No phone, no plan, nothing. I started pacing, just a few steps away from the pillar, then back again, like I was tethered to it. Because what if they came back and I wasn't there? What if I messed up the only instruction they gave me? That's how deep it was. I was scared and still worried about doing the wrong thing. Then I saw the car, through the front windows, rolling slowly past the street outside. Relief hit me so fast it almost hurt. I ran toward the glass, waving, heart racing like crazy. They're back, I thought. They came back. My dad was driving. My mom was in the passenger seat. They were looking right at me and smiling, but not the kind of smile you give when you find your kid. No, the kind of smile you give when the joke lands exactly how you wanted. My mom rolled the window down just enough and shouted, "I bet $50 you can't even find your way home." And then she laughed. My dad laughed too, gave me this stupid thumbs up like it was some kind of game show. And just like that, they drove off, gone, just like that. And in that exact moment, something inside me changed. Not cracked, not bent, changed. Because it hit me all at once. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a lesson. This was who they were, and I was never going to be safe with them. And just like that, they were gone. Not coming back in 5 minutes, not circling the block, not testing me one last time. Gone. I stood there for a second longer than I should have, like my brain was trying to catch up with what my eyes had already seen. Then the noise of the station rushed back in all at once, announcements echoing off the walls, people dragging suitcases, footsteps, voices, everything too loud, too fast. And me? I was just a kid standing there with $9 and a heart beating so hard it felt like it might break something inside my chest. I walked back inside slowly, not because I had a plan, because I didn't. I didn't know where else to go. I stayed near that pillar at first, like maybe if I just followed the rules, if I just stayed where they told me, something would reset. Like maybe they'd come back and say, "Okay, lesson over." But deep down, I knew. I think I knew the moment I saw that smile on my dad's face. Time stopped making sense after that. Minutes felt like hours. Hours felt like days. I walked in circles around the station, trying not to look as scared as I felt, because even then, even in that moment, I was embarrassed. That's what growing up like that does to you. It teaches you to hide pain instead of asking for help. I sat down on a bench, got back up, walked to the vending machines, stared at them like they might tell me what to do. $9. That's what my whole life was worth in that moment. $9 and a test I never agreed to take. I thought about going outside. Didn't. Too big, too unknown, too many ways to get it wrong. I thought about asking someone for help. Didn't. Because my parents had spent years drilling it into me. Don't trust people, don't be weak, don't make a scene. So there I was, alone, surrounded by thousands of people, and completely invisible. I don't know how long I walked before someone finally noticed me. Her name was Maria. I didn't know that yet, but I remember her face. Tired, kind eyes. The kind that don't rush past you like everyone else. She stopped me near a hallway and said, "Hey, you okay?" I lied. Of course I lied. "I'm waiting for my parents." She nodded slowly like she'd heard that before. "How long you been waiting?" "I don't know." "Have you eaten today?" That question broke me. I don't know why it was that one. Maybe because it was the first question that sounded like someone actually cared about the answer. I started crying right there in the middle of the station. Not quiet tears, not the kind I was trained to hide. Ugly, shaking, can't breathe kind of crying. And once it started, I couldn't stop. Everything came out. I told her everything. About the car, the bet, the laugh, the way they looked at me like I was nothing. She didn't interrupt, didn't tell me to calm down, didn't act uncomfortable. She just listened. And then she said something I had never heard before an adult. "You're safe. I've got you." Those 4 words, they hit harder than anything else that day. Because for the first time in my life, I believed it. Security came, then transit police. They asked questions, took notes, checked cameras. Everything got real fast. One of the officers made the call to my parents. I could only hear his side, but I'll never forget his face. It went from calm to confused to straight up disbelief. He said, "Ma'am, leaving a 12-year-old alone in a major transit station is not a lesson. It's abandonment." Abandonment. That word landed in my chest like something heavy and solid. Because it wasn't dramatic. It wasn't exaggerated. It was accurate. And for the first time, someone said it out loud. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't overreacting. This wasn't normal. By that evening, I wasn't going home. Not that night, not the next day, not ever again. They took me to a foster home. And yeah, I was terrified. Everything I'd ever been told about ending up with strangers was running through my head. But then I met Mark and Laura Bennett, and nothing about them matched the fear I had been taught. Their house felt warm. Not perfect, not fancy, just real. There was a lamp on in the entryway, a dog somewhere in the back, pictures on the walls that didn't look staged. Mark asked what I wanted to eat. Mark asked if I wanted the hallway light on at night. Simple stuff. But to me, it felt unreal. Nobody laughed when I cried at dinner. Nobody made me earn basic kindness. Nobody turned my fear into a punchline. That first night, I barely slept. Every sound made me sit up. Every shadow made my heart race. But there was something else there, too. Something new. Quiet. Safe. The next few months were messy. Courtrooms, social workers, therapy. My parents showed up acting like they always did. Calm, composed, like this was all some kind of misunderstanding. They admitted what they did. That's the wild part. They just justified it. Called it a lesson, called it discipline, called it preparing me for the real world. But this time, people didn't buy it. The truth had witnesses now. Records. Statements. My voice. When the judge asked if I wanted to go back home, I said no. Fast. No hesitation. And my parents, they had a choice. Fight to get me back or walk away. They chose to walk. Just like that. No big speech, no dramatic moment. They signed the papers and let me go, because protecting their image mattered more than being my parents. That's something you don't forget. Ever. The Bennetts didn't rush me, didn't expect me to suddenly be okay. They just stayed. Day after day. No tests, no traps, no conditions. And slowly, I started to believe it, that I wasn't a problem to fix, that I didn't have to earn love, that I could exist without being afraid all the time. I changed my name, Sophia Bennett, because the girl they left behind, she deserved peace, and I was finally ready to build something new. It wasn't instant. Healing never is. I still flinched when people were late, still panicked when someone said, "I'll be right back," still hated waiting in public places. But I worked through it, step by step. I went to school, studied design, built a life, met Alex, fell in love with someone who didn't try to test me, fix me, or control me. We built something steady, something real. And for years, that was enough. Until this morning. Those 29 missed calls, that voicemail from my sister, telling me everything had fallen apart for them. The business, the reputation, the life they protected more than me. Gone. And now, they wanted me back. Not out of love, out of need, out of fear. I sat with that for a long time. Then I made a decision. I didn't go back to save them. I went back to finish it, on my terms. The hospital room smelled like regret. My father looked smaller. My mother still trying to hold on to control even when everything else was gone. They cried, said they made mistakes, asked for forgiveness. But I didn't raise my voice, didn't argue, didn't break. I just told them the truth. You didn't lose me. You left me. And I learned how to live without you. I told them I had a family now. A real one. People who stayed. People who didn't turn fear into entertainment. And then I stood up. Walked out. And this time, I didn't wait by the door hoping they'd follow. I didn't look back because I wasn't that 12-year-old girl anymore. I found my way home, just not to them. And that's the part they never saw coming.